Kayla, thank you for joining me. It's the morning with you in
Yes.
Southwest Florida.
Yes, Southwest Florida, Fort Myers.
Well, good morning to you. You and
Yeah.
I first met at Ali Gilbert's event last,
Hmm.
6 months ago.
Right.
And I remember having a good conversation with you at the event. One of the online coaches that I got to meet there. And this story that we're going to unpack here is probably one of the most valuable ones that um, I put out that I will go through and because there's going to be so many coaches who are in your position. And this is not a story today of I've made double, treble, quadruple my revenue. Because I remember saying to you, I was like, Kayla, there's a lot we're going to have to address in the business before you move on.
Hmm.
And I have no apology to any entrepreneur that I speak to that says we've got to tidy some stuff up.
Hmm.
So give me an idea of kind of what the business was in terms of revenue, client numbers, team numbers when we first met, and kind of what challenges you were maybe going through with the business.
Right. So I met you back in November, and I went because I had some coach turnover. Last year, I had six coaches underneath me, and I had three leave between July and October. And I was kind of going through it. I was like, what do I want to do? Do I want to have a big team? All of these different thoughts I was having, just kind of challenging myself as a leader, but also I remember the first question I asked you, like, how much profit should you be having? Because even though I was making 50, 45, 50K months, my profit was like 10%. Like it was nothing. I had nothing. And because I had so many people on my team, just because over the years, that's just what I thought I had to do to grow and scale. So I was very much in a position of either like, do I continue to grow or do I need to fix what I have first? And that was, I remember the question that I asked you.
Yeah, no, I remember it very, very clearly. We sat down and had a long conversation. And I'll be honest with you, I don't I don't find talking to people who just want to talk about the revenue side of any business as rewarding as somebody that says, of course, I want to make money, but I want to do it with a stable, solid ship. So we want to talk about profit. We want to talk about team. We want to talk about emotional stability and the long game play of a business. How many team members were in your company when we were talking, when we sat down to start with in November?
I
Let's go
had
through them.
I had three coaches underneath me. One was on her way out. I had two virtual assistants. I had four setters. Too many. I think I had another closer at the time. Too many.
Wow. And you said to me as well that when you first hit the 10K mark, you had a great social media following. And I said, okay, cool. What are you doing organically? You're like, no, no, no. We're driving ads straight into our DMs. And I said, are you not talking to anybody organically?
I
So
wasn't.
you already, when you got to 10K months, were straight into the ads. And it's not something that I am, advise people against, but also you hadn't been run any organic, correct?
Correct. I had a little bit of organic, but until I hit that 10K revenue, I just was like, oh, I can put this into ads. Let's go. And that was back in 2020. So I could have done so much more organically back then, but I just was like, let's
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
no, no, no. I get that. And look, you talked about 10% profit margin. To anybody that's kind of getting that level of profit margin and potentially having very little cash for themselves at the end of it, what state were you in as a person, emotionally, within the business? I mean, you're hustling. 45
Mhm.
to 50K months, you're hustling, you're bringing sales in, you're getting, I remember you were telling me you were getting leads, the ads were working, things were going well. But how was that affecting you personally? You know, I mean, it's a challenging situation when the cash is coming in, but it's going out quicker than it's coming in.
Right, right. I was in a very scarcity place. I was in a very scarcity place, not great energy, low vibrational, just like I need them. I need these things. I need these sales. And just from a very scarcity mindset, I was just operating. I would work as soon as I would wake up, I would chug coffee, energy drinks, wake up, open my laptop, and then, until 9 p.m. And it was just constant. And I was even just like not calm. I was just a little more agitated because I was just always on. Yeah.
Wow. So let's look at this. You joined us, and we said initially we've just got to make some pretty big changes, but they're not going to be immediate. What were some of the changes that we advised you to make that was pretty hard for you to take on board? You probably knew at the time you needed to, but there was a bit of a delay with some of them and the changes. What were some of them? Because to anybody, by the way, there's going to be a lot of people watching this who will go, "Oh my God, I relate to this so much," right? But you
Mhm.
join something like ours, the first thing you want to do is make loads of money. But I was the first to say, we're not going to focus on money. We've got to tidy stuff up. So, what were some of the moves that we advised that you resisted, or some of the things that really you put in place with a bit of resistance?
Leaning out my contract labor. So leaning out the people in my business. I am just I had built a business that I just was able to provide revenue or provide income for a lot of people. And that made me really proud and very happy to do that. And I just cared so much about them more than myself. And I think a lot of people can relate to that too. So it was really, really hard for me to um, restructure to where it was going to lower people's pay, let people go that just weren't necessary to us in the business because I just had such a strong emotional attachment to them.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest one.
And the other thing we think we talked about briefly was developing a degree of organic um, marketing to the point
Mm,
of having conversations with the people that were actually
yes.
following you. Was that a impactful part of the business?
Yeah, I had no resistance. As soon as you said that, I was like, you know what? Why am I not doing this? You're so right. So I immediately got somebody in my Instagram and saw just we were able to close super easy organic leads that have been watching me for years. And so that was so cool. I was just like, man, I can't believe I didn't do this sooner. So, but yeah, it was cool. I think the biggest reason why I hadn't is because I knew that it was going to take a lot of training from me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when do I have the time to train a setter to talk like me organically? Ads are one thing, but like organic was a whole other ball game. And so yeah, I just was like, I have to do this. And that was a huge game changer for me.
To anybody that in your situation that is running ads and is sitting on thousands of followers that have not had a conversation with, regardless of the work that needed to go in to actually get somebody to learn it, would you do it again? Would you train them up again to put that system in place? I mean,
Yeah.
it's cash sitting there.
Yeah, I would definitely have gotten better at organic marketing and more organic DMing before
Yeah.
I would have did ads for
Yeah,
sure.
no, that's important for anybody to understand. Now, removing people from the business, that's tough because you love them, you care for them, you're paying their salaries, etc. How did you deal with the emotional um, instability that can come with having to let go of people? To anybody watching this today that's got to let go of people.
Um, it's okay to be emotional about it. It's okay to let yourself feel it, but then you have to act. Like then you have to, do what's best for the business and for themselves. I heard a quote that said, some they're going to be fine before you and they're going to be fine after you. Like it's going to be okay. And you were like, hey, you have to take care of yourself and everybody's going to understand that, even though maybe people aren't happy about it. But I just had to take my emotion out of it during that part and then just use logic and understand that being a leader is about making hard choices. And if I'm not making those hard choices, like, am I being a good leader? And so that was a big thought for me. I was like, oh, I thought I was a good leader, but maybe I'm not because I can't make these hard decisions. And so that was helpful to reframe that. But I just had to let myself feel it and then be like, okay, let's go.
And your relationship, therefore, with profit. Uh,
Mm.
uh, it's a hard one for a lot of people because they build a business, they get the clients, they bring the numbers in, and they're not really focusing on profit. They're focusing on I'm growing the business, I'm bringing clients in. How much has your respect for profit changed? And I suppose in that question lies how much now do you realize that you deserve to make some money?
Yeah, there would be times where I wouldn't take a paycheck, and I just thought that was what you had to do, to just be a good business owner. And pretty messed up. So like you don't want to be like you started this business to grow your business for your life, not to just work another job. So it's just that was tough that I had to deal with. But also too, we would have to just rely on like huge months to even make like a 20 to 30% profit. Like huge astronomical months. Whereas now I can make stable months and have more profit. And that just keeps me so much more on a level emotional playing field. Yeah, it's really great.
Do you find with that then that uh well, let's just talk about what we've been able to change
Yes.
so far, because now you're in a position where the business is generating or has reduced the cost significantly, which
Mhm.
means that the business is less volatile, which
Mhm.
means, yes, you're going to need to still make money, but it's operating from a more stable place. So you reduce the cost of the team, and we also reduce the ads costs,
Yeah.
saving how much a month?
So when I met you, October before November, labor expenses were at $26,600.
Well,
And I was spending between 35 to 4K a month on ads. Now, I have gotten my contractor labor down to 17.5K
wow.
recently when I made these changes, right? There is a little bit of a lag there because I was scared, but 17.5K, and now I'm spending only $2,500 a month on ads.
So now that basically is you at nearly 10K
Yes, yes. Mhm.
saving a month within the business. And I'm sure you could probably see other areas of squeeze potentially over the next few months, where I think the reason and why this is such a powerful conversation you and I are having is because every business mentor wants to shout about they've gone from 20 to 50 or 40 to 60.
In there.
Well, Kayla, like I know that you are going to continue to grow. Like you've got a demanding business. You've got people that want to work with you. Your results are fantastic. Your knowledge and experience is fantastic. When somebody has those skills, it's just a case of marketing and keeping hold of the clients and the results, because the optimism that the business model is there. Like we go through highs and lows like anybody else, but that's a huge amount of saving.
Right.
How now do you feel about the business and your respect around profit margins compared to when you first started?
Oh, just so much better. So much better. Everybody's like, "Oh, I have all of these coaches under me and I have all of these team members and I'm making all of this revenue." And I used to get so much praise for that as well too. And so I like was kind of addicted to that, but then what I was spending was astronomical and I was like barely taking anything home. So it was like kind of like this front of I'm doing really great, and everybody says that until it's not cool anymore because then you're not making any money. And so it's almost like a false identity. And so now I feel just way more aligned with like my messaging and me as a leader. Like I just feel just aligned. And I think that's the biggest thing to just that's the biggest word, aligned, and just much more calm. You guys have taught me to also project out my revenue too. And I had never done that before. I was just kind of like flying by the seat of my pants and just kind of hoping that I was going to get this revenue. But I can actually plan out my revenue for several months. And then it makes me so much more calm, and then I can make better decisions.
You're a stable entrepreneur. You got a great brand. You got a great business. It's more profitable, and there's a really really bright future ahead for the business. I do want to ask you. Uh, these, by the way, are lessons that you've learned in 6 months that could take some entrepreneurs 6 years to learn. And
Yeah.
so I've learned these lessons myself, which we all have to go through. And part of your story leading into the rest of your career will be, hey, let me tell you about when I spent shitloads of money on team and it nearly crushed the business. And then I had somebody tell me, no,
Right.
that's not the way. And that's only taken you 6 months to get the lesson fixed. And if you think about it, for some people, they don't have any coaching, guidance, or mentorship, they're screwed. So, you know, what is your big lesson and take home from
Mhm.
today's conversation and from the last 6 months to other entrepreneurs, other online fitness coaches?
Yeah, I have learned, I've been in business for, a long time, quote unquote. So 5 or 6 years, right? And I've learned more from you guys in 6 months than I have that whole time. Because I think everybody just saw what I was doing and kind of excusing it, like, oh, you're outsourcing because of this, and it's okay. And then you were like, no, it's not okay. And I needed that. I needed you to be brutally honest with me. I needed James to like hold me accountable. And I needed that kind of shake as to like, what are we doing? So I even wish I would have done it even a little bit earlier, but I think now it's just, when you have this feeling and when you see this happening, if you continue to wait, it's only going to get worse. I kept just saying, one more good month, one more good month. We just need this, we just need that. And if I would have made these decisions earlier, then I'd be in a different spot. So I think the biggest lesson is, hey, when you see these numbers don't lie. They just don't. And so if you're using your emotion instead of looking at the data, then like you're running an emotionally charged business that's going to fade, just like motivation fades for clients. It's the same way. So if you're building a business off of emotion, it's not going to grow, and you're going to get to a point where you're like, okay, I need to make some serious changes, and then you have to do it, and maybe it's too late. So
Well, Kayla, one of the most valuable interviews I've done because it's truth, it's honesty, and it's not inflated ego discussion that tells people something that's not true. This is real business. And I know the lesson that you've learned from this, similar, I've been through the same thing, is one that it's a lesson that will actually double and treble your business in the years to come. So
mhm.
on behalf actually of everybody watching, thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being honest. One, there's not many people watching this that'll have the level of revenue you have, so crushing it, great clients. You wouldn't be where you are without an amazing audience and clients and skills as a professional coach. But you've been honest about what needs to be refined to give you the next opportunity to move into the next season. So thank you
Of
for
course.
being with me today.
Of course. Thank you. And yeah, I hope this helps somebody. I wish I would have seen this honesty when I was starting my business earlier too. So if I could help a couple people kind of in that same spot, like that's good for me.
I'm very grateful for your time. Thanks, Keller.
Thank you.